We believe that we have to build that wall. That's basically the way I feel when you have illegal immigrants coming in illegally. First thing they do, they get off the book jobs, right? Yeah. Off the books, tax-free, untraceable.
What do you think about Trump and his taxes?
Listen, I don't have any comment on that because I have no interest in that. Yeah. You know, listen. Trump is a Christian, but hey, he was a man once, you know what I mean? He was single, he dated black women, he did his thing, but he's still a Christian. That's all I care about. I'm a Christian, maybe you guys are, but we're not the perfect.
What do you think is really going on right now with Trump? You think he's playing chess right now?
Yeah.
He's playing chess.
Yes, I believe so. He's a very intelligent man.
Yeah, he's too smart. He doesn't believe in COVID.
No, he doesn't believe in COVID.
Yeah.
And if you guys understand that in the Hasidic community, when they came down with COVID, supposedly, they were attacked by, city officials. Hey, you guys need to quarantine. He said, no, we're good because we're taking the hydrochloride. Yeah. They said, we're good. Our doctor's giving us that. So the first thing I said to them was, wait a minute, isn't that banned? But your doctor is giving you this medicine that works, that Trump, spoke about, that many people believe in. How the hell are you guys getting away with this? Because you got to think about it. You know what I'm saying?
So the Hasidics are doing stuff that's illegal.
They do it. They're not doing. I don't think it's illegal. I just think they're smart. It's illegal for us to have that. For the as we're considered the goyim or the minorities, it's illegal for us to be healthy. For them, they have we call that special treatment. They have privileges that we don't have.
Yeah.
Oh my God Almighty!
Yeah. That guy is a beacon of knowledge. I mean, can we just bow down to that one right there?
Well, since I'm a Jew,
I'm officially not going to be Jewish anymore. Just really affiliate.
So that's from Walter Masterson's YouTube channel. Go check it out down below in the description. And he interviewed this guy, and he's actually talking about how there's going to be possibility of a real problem on election day or after election day if Donald Trump doesn't win. So it's just a really serious situation. We've got both sides very angry. On our side, Biden, if he loses, I think there's going to be a lot of rioting. And if Donald Trump loses, I think these Trumpers are going to get crazy because they think that Trump is God.
I don't think Biden's going to lose. And even Texas is going blue. Y'all can put that in the book, and I guarantee it. It's gonna go blue this year.
Yeah,
I'd love that.
I hope so. I really hope so.
I mean, you have to look at this though. Donald Trump has, from months ago, put it out there that if he loses, it will be because of massive voter fraud. So he's put it out there without any evidence, and his base believes him 100%, and they are behind that 100%.
But you've got to remember, he only has about 35% of the people in America that really support him. Right. And honey, they're nothing, and they're too stupid. Trust me. I know these people. I grew up in Alabama. They may talk a big game, but they don't walk it.
I mean, I actually think there's going to be less. I think there's going to be less violence, like here in LA and Beverly Hills and West.
Oh, good Lord.
We are shut down for the next 4 days, and I think that that's going to prove to be not necessary, as necessary as it was for the Black Lives Matter riots, because that was like a free for all. I just kind of think that just to Amanda's point, I also theoretically believe there's going to win in a landslide, which will eliminate any questions. But optimistically speaking, but I just think that that's why there won't be that much violence. I do too.
In terms of the violence, though, recently, I mean, just what was it, yesterday, 2 days ago, we saw Trump trucks, try to stop a Biden bus. We've seen Trump supporters try and kidnap a governor of Michigan. They just blocked one of the bridges here in New York. Like, I think that they are up for shenanigans, and I think it's going to happen.
I mean,
I think they're up for some things, but I don't think that it's going to be widespread.
Yeah, no, there'll be pockets of insanity because
for sure
there's so many insane people. But I'd like to think, as optimistic as I think he is to win, I just think that if he wins by enough of a margin, the violence, you can't sustain it. The cops, as much as they have been kind of staying back with these past couple of days with those incidents, like with them stopping traffic and stuff, I just think the cops are going to remember who their real president's going to be. And
I
if
do
they
too.
want to be defunded to fucking nowhere land, they better be cops,
So let's go around and introduce everybody really fast because we really didn't do that just now. My name is Bert. I come from the channel Food X Bert, and I travel the world, and I kind of just try to show people to get out of their comfort zone and get out of your bubble and go out and explore the world. And I mean, people in America are so scared to travel. I don't see hardly any Americans traveling in Europe or Southeast Asia. I don't see them. They're just not existent. So I made my channel kind of to encourage people to travel and not be scared, because people in America think that we are like the best country in the world and we've got everything here, so why would I ever leave the United States? So my channel is based on just focusing on getting out of your bubble and going exploring the world. So yeah, that's what I do. My channel is called Food Expert. My name is Bert, and that's my channel. Let's go to Mr. Jahko. You want to talk about your channel?
Yes, so my channel, basically, I do remixes of songs, I do rap, I do informational videos, anything to get the message across to Generation Z. Even today, I just did a video where I basically used Among Us, the game that all the Generation Z kids are playing. I used that game to basically explain the importance of voting. And yeah, it really helped with that and got people out there to vote. So
that's great.
My platform is Mr. Jahko all over the place. So you'll
on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
Yeah.
And then we've got Rik.
I have been driving the country making a documentary on America in 2020. I've been asking everyone the same 6 questions. I have some of them that I'm posting up on YouTube now, and in the end, it'll be one big documentary.
That's awesome. Yeah. And we got your information down below in the description, just like everybody else here. And then Amanda Henn.
Hey, darling. Amanda Henn. I do political stuff. I talk about entertainment because, I'm an entertainer. And I am also a supporter of all LGBTQ individuals. My son is gay, and I'm there marching and doing whatever I can. And, I'm for women's issues too. We're going to vote this ugly man out of office tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the protests that are going on right now in Poland, Amanda? There's a big protest talking about women's abortion issues.
I did. And Poland's been going at it for a couple of days. And what's the other country that had a pro-Russian leader and they're trying to kick him out? I mean, they've been...
Belarus.
Yeah, they've been going to town. And Abe, are you Jewish too?
Yes, I am.
Me too, darling.
That's great. And then we've got...
I just want to...
Oh, yeah, go ahead, babe. Go ahead.
I want to say the one thing about the Jews, like that, about that Orthodox... talking about the Orthodox community, the fact that Jews support Trump when anti-Semitism has been on the rise over the past 3.5 years is
they're nuts.
For the Jews. It's inexcusable for the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Mermaidmama Maggie.
Hi, guys. I'm happy to be here. I'm primarily on TikTok. I'm just starting out on other places. You can catch me there. I do comedy, political comedy. That's about it.
Yeah,
Are you also a musician? I see all the guitars.
I sing. My husband's a musician.
Yeah.
That's great. And then we got Abe. Abe is here.
So I'm Abe. My handle on TikTok is Won't Be Silent. I just started a couple months ago, and I'm like having the time of my life. And I just posted a thing saying, I don't even know how I would have handled the past few months without the TikTok community. It's been an absolute joy for me. But I'm making a film called Won't Be Silent. It's based on a piece of music. My uncle was killed in a concentration camp, but 70 years after he was killed, the Holocaust Museum found a song that he wrote as a song of resistance to the Nazis.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm taking this piece of music and I'm having all different musicians and artists interpret it. Of course, since COVID, I've had to kind of stop production, but it's, you know, I'm starting to gang it right back up, but it's a labor of love. And in the meanwhile, since we had to shut down and this election is happening, I thought, what better way to say I won't be silent than by voting? So I've been using the song as a public service announcement for certain voting rights organizations, and I'm just trying to make my life count. That's
great. Yeah.
That's fabulous.
So we got such a fun little group here tonight, and I'm just super excited to have you guys all here. So we've got a lot of things going on right now. I actually haven't been paying attention all day for the news. Can you guys update me on what Trump is saying today? Like, what's going on? Because
the same crap he always says.
Same shit, different day.
Yeah. It's a S show.
And actually,
I actually saw him in person today. I drove down to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and he had one of his rallies there, and I listened to him. And it is exactly what you see on TV. It's formulaic. He says the same things. He waits for the applause. He waits for the boos. He waits for the lock him up. And he talks about policy, not one iota.
That's because he doesn't have any.
And that's because
no plan, fake tan.
I love that.
Yeah.
He already put out a tweet. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he just put out a tweet to his militia people to incite violence against the people of Pennsylvania tomorrow. All the supporters to suppress the vote. And they were just talking about it on CNN.
But honey, it'll be his voters out tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's sad because instead of him even thanking his own supporters for supporting him, instead of that, he's going to the Supreme Court and he's doing all this craziness. It's just like,
honey, let them suppress all the vote they want to tomorrow. Our people's already voted.
Yeah. It's kind of a desperate individual. The other piece of news today is that the guy that he had was the German ambassador for a while, that gay guy. He posted a photo of Joe Biden without a mask on a plane, and he got like 50,000 likes and views and passed around on Twitter. And the fact was that the picture was from 2019.
Oh, dear.
It makes no sense.
They can't do anything without lying and cheating.
Right.
But that's the thing. It doesn't matter if it just gets out there right before the election. They don't care.
But it's only his people that watches that crap.
Exactly.
They're going to vote for him anyway.
Exactly. It's not turning anybody. If people don't know who they're voting for, as of now, then they'll never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that undecided is like just deciding how much of a racist you are, if you ask me.
Well, I'm going to hold one of his little television shows, and I'm going to be the one that goes, "You're fired."
Rick, what was the Trump rally like in Pennsylvania? Did he do multiple rallies today in one full day? Did he like go to multiple states, like spending American dollars? He's spending American dollars to go to different states to go do a rally, and it shouldn't be illegal to be doing that on the government's dime.
Has to pay for the airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was 5 today that if I understand correctly, I think we were number 3 or that I went to. There were Secret Service everywhere. There were snipers on the roof. Air Force One came screeching in, pulled up. He got out and he did his thing, and it was really interesting. Like there were so many people that were literally like having a religious. When he came out, they're like, "Oh my God, that's Trump! That's Trump! That's Trump!" And everything that he said is everything that he said every time. Like there was nothing new. And like I said earlier, he didn't talk about policy. He talked about Hillary. He talked about Kamala Harris. He talked about Biden's son and treason and the fake news. And it was like a just punchline after punchline. Yeah, same thing.
SSDD, same poop, different day.
Yep.
I mean,
last night he was in Rome, Georgia, And they think it's going to get them votes. I mean, Rome, Georgia, as I said on the thing, it's the size of a butthole on a gnat. And, you know, how they ever even got the plane to land there is beyond me. And it's 20 miles from Alabama. So, you know, the only people that was there was Alabama people, and they're going to vote for him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think
he's going to lose Georgia.
He just needs airtime.
He needs attention from the crowd. He's an egomaniac.
Yeah, he can't
and
handle
he left the people out in the cold again in Rome last night. There was people that were 85 years old that was stranded out in the cold for 2 hours.
Wow.
I have a really funny video that I actually played last night. It just really, it was on the front of YouTube. And it was like, basically, it's just Trump talking to a camera, really not professional, not edited. There's no real good message in it. He just like rambles on and talks about how Biden belongs in jail. I'm going to play that really fast. It's just like a 2-minute thing. I'll probably just play 1 minute of it. But he paid money to put this on the very front of YouTube, which is just bizarre to me. This one is a ridiculous one. Page. Yeah, it's on the very front page, and he puts money. Why doesn't he cut it and edit it and make us like not listen to this whole thing? It's just a crazy rambling on speech.
Because people wouldn't understand it.
Well, here it is. I'm going to play it right now. Here it is.
I really don't want to be talking about an opponent in a negative way. Hard to believe it's me talking, but that's true. But Joe Biden and the whole family, there's such corruption. It's so obvious. He would go to a place, whether it's China or Ukraine or any place, Russia, you take a look at what he's done. And his son was like a human vacuum cleaner. They'd take out millions and millions and millions of dollars. And in some cases, it was like immediate. And in some cases, Joe was vice president, in many cases, when this was all happening. The son had nothing, didn't do well, wasn't successful. And for that, I feel very badly. And I don't even want to mention it, actually. But as soon as Joe became vice president, all of a sudden this money started flowing into the family. And it's no good. And whether something happens as to it or not, I don't know. That's not up to me. But you know what? The voter has to know. The voter has to know that a man who was vice president was funneling tens of millions of dollars to his family. Somebody should know this. And you can make your decision, and maybe you'll vote for him and maybe you won't. But it should really play a part in your decision. You become vice president of the United States and your family becomes super wealthy immediately. Immediately. I guarantee you this, Mike Pence, our vice president, our great vice president, never did that. It's a whole different world. Joe Biden, whether you call him a corrupt politician or whatever you want to call him, this is a very, very serious thing, and everybody's talking about it, although the media and big tech is trying to keep it quiet. But I only say this, you have to make your decision. I don't know what's going to happen, but this is corruption at the highest level. Thank you.
I loved the music. The music on there was so inspirational and so just like heartwarming. We've got this. It's like,
can we talk about his limited vocabulary?
And that makeup. Lord God, the lighting was horrible.
And does he not know what irony is? I mean, talk about corruption. Like that family of all, that's amazing that he's calling out some other family when his family is getting rich just from the golf courses alone, let alone the patents.
I mean, not to be
the golf courses are going broke.
They're going broke because of mismanagement, and it's too big. Oh, Maggie, you want to say something? Oh, you need to unmute. You got to unmute.
Sorry, I had a crying child while that was all happening, so you didn't have to hear. He's sitting there, and he's like, you know, here's a bunch of information that I've made up, but do with it as you will. Like, come on.
And I hate to sound superficial, but I think that this video was made before he went to the hospital where he did not have coronavirus. He had I believe he had a blood transfusion Botox, fillers, he scraped his skin.
Chemical
and
peel.
he had
Yeah,
6
I just
colors.
did that.
And because look at his hair color and his skin, and he's like flattened out in this video compared to how he looked when he was standing on that Evita moment. That was like fresh right out of the beauty chair. Not that he's beautiful or anything.
No.
So that's just my superficial take on that video.
His vocabulary is so limited. I just can't. Like, did you see how much times he said in some cases, in many cases? It's like,
well, that's why he's lying.
Yeah, and I love it how in the very beginning he said, I don't want to talk bad about anybody. I just, like, he doesn't want to talk anything bad about his opponent, but then he talks everything bad about him. And it's like, talks about so much corruption, and it was completely a mess. He should have had that whole thing edited. Like, he should have done everything take for take, piece by piece, and had a professional edit and cut it, right, Rick? I mean, that's probably what you do. You edit the video, make him look perfect. You don't just have a video, press go, and then like freestyle it. You actually make the video piece by piece, 3 sentences here, and then cut, and then put the next set, and then cut, and then do another one. You know what I mean? That would be a better video.
He is, though. He's always the guy that's like, I'm going to do one take and take it for what it is, and it's perfect because I'm Donald Trump. That's how he rolls.
And
That's what egomaniac did.
And he has the talking disease. So when you have that kind of illness on top of all his other psychosis, he doesn't know how to like edit himself in his own head. He just vomits. It's like when you're a writer and you do your vomit draft is the first thing you do. He's a constant vomit draft, that guy.
Logorrhea. It's diarrhea of the mouth.
Yes. Mr. Jahko, I want you to check out a rapper that's a friend of mine. It's J Young MDK, and it's just the initial J and then YUNGDMK. He's really great, and Jamie Foxx mentored him.
oh
wow.
Okay. Thank you for that.
He's with my same PR group.
Okay.
You'll love it. And he's cute.
I just can't believe, he leaves his supporters in the cold, in these really cold climates here, like that are having like cold fronts coming in, and he just leaves them there to, some of them die. I mean, I think some of them almost died, and they went to
That's
the
one
hospital.
less vote. That's one less vote.
It's 700 less votes.
I mean, you're not wrong.
The end of my videos, what it says. 2020.
Oops, not allowed to say it on YouTube.
I didn't
Yeah,
say it.
we're not supposed to say it, but actually tonight is the night. If you really want to cuss, we're just streaming on our platforms right now, so actually we could cuss, and it's no problem. Tonight we could, but normally definitely don't cuss on John's or on.
I cuss enough without doing it tonight.
Yeah, no, definitely. It does affect the YouTube algorithm.
There, Amanda, I have to say.
I think Abe has the hardest problem with cussing because he gets so worked up. He gets so worked up over the stuff that Trump does, and you somehow do it. You have to do it. You feel like you have to do it.
I mean, but can I have a reason, because when I lived in New York when Trump initially destroyed it with the whole yuppie culture, and him and what's his name, Rudy Giuliani, were the ones that destroyed New York City, and they ushered in this whole financially aspirational society that was the destruction of when New York was actually at its finest, skeeziest, but finest, So, and I worked for years for this, raising money for this AIDS organization, that his sister-in-law was our angel. She was awesome.
Are you talking about Blame Trump?
Blame Trump. She's awesome. So he would always show up at the events and just put like the stink all over the event. So I've had like a long history of hating him. So that's why I get so freaked out that we're even at this place, that these are the conversations we're having I mean, if he wasn't in the White House, we would all have never met. So there's the good news and
There's
the
good things.
Yeah, definitely.
Things, it always works out for the best. Things do.
The chances, you guys, what do you guys think the chances are? A lot of different companies are giving different odds. Like some are giving 89%, some are giving 95%, some are giving 66%, which is very close to me. Like, in my opinion, very, very close. So, I mean, what do you guys think are the odds that Trump is going to win? Honestly, how much would you gamble? Would you gamble, like, if you vote against Trump winning, would you want to get like $50 out of 100? You give 100 if Trump wins, and you get $50 if Trump loses. I mean, would you do that bet?
I think it's going to be a landslide. I mean, all the early voting, Biden's going to win in huge, bigly, as Trump said.
I want to play right now. So our topic tonight is like the storm for tomorrow. People are boarding up. People are scared. The businesses are scared. I'm going to play a video really fast talking about it. It's actually an Australian company doing the news because, Trump says that we can't trust the media from America. So we're going to play Australian media. So here it is.
Go for it, baby.
As millions of Americans cast their votes in one of the most tumultuous elections in US history, authorities across the country are preparing for social unrest, and businesses aren't taking any chances, fearing mass protests and rioting in the wake of next week's result.
It looks like a natural disaster is about to sweep through the United States Capitol.
I've been here 50 years and I never seen it like this, never.
Shops and businesses boarding up their properties, blocks from the White House. And across the country, Los Angeles' famous Rodeo Drive shuttered and shielded from potential violence and looting.
We're hiring an extra SWAT team from Santa Paula PD. We're hiring 80 armed security guards.
Authorities and locals fearing a repeat of these scenes sparked by the death of George Floyd in May. For months, the violence has continued across America. This week in Philadelphia, protests over the police shooting of a black man escalated to riots and looting.
You got to have law and order. You've got to have respect for our police.
The president's law and order stance is a key platform of his campaign, but it's his constant casting doubt on the election result that has people here concerned, with fears of a backlash from the losing side.
It's definitely scary. Either way the election goes, they know that there's going to be a lot of destruction.
We were here in early June when this fence was being built after the violence fled. It was supposed to be temporary. 5 months on, it is still standing. It's now a Black Lives Matter mural, some anti-Trump messages, and behind it, several rows of barricades have been added to make sure no one gets near the White House.
The world's greatest democracy, hoping for the best, preparing for the worst. In Washington, D.C., Amelia Adams, 9 News.
As you can see, we've got multiple layers of fences on the White House. That's never happened in the history of the United States before. The White House.
Who would want to go there? You'd need to wash with Clorox if you went in the place.
Okay,
Talk about building a wall. There you go.
Hey, that's the only wall he's built. And also, isn't he the one that's trying to call, like, Joe Biden is the one hiding in his basement, basement, right?
Yeah.
This is Bunker Boy.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Mexico is paying for that little wall. He's such a douche.
You guys, we are actually we come up with, like, the Democrats come up with all the terms. Like, we called him Bunker Boy when he hid it in his basement back in the, I don't know, it was the day before he did the Bible tactic. Like, he held the Bible. The day before, he was hiding in his basement. He was scared that they're going to riot and come into the White House. And that's why we have the fence around the White House. So, I mean, we came up with the term Bunker Boy. And then a couple days later, the Republicans were coming up with the idea that Biden is hiding in his basement from coronavirus, which, I mean, everybody was supposed to be kind of staying away and a little bit hiding, but not. I mean, he's not hiding right now, obviously.
And you know, I think it's crazy that, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Joe Biden campaign was brilliant. The more he stayed away, the better it was.
Yep.
It started even during the primaries. The less he was around, the better he did. It was like $1 million.
So true. Well, all you have to do is let Donald Trump do his thing, and he has spiraled down, and taken, in the toilet, absolutely. I mean, he's done it all to himself, and the best part is that the Biden campaign has been trolling him with his own words. Like, you can't make that up. It's so great.
Yeah, that one ad is.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to say anything. He just takes care of it for you.
Yeah.
And Rick, I love your apartment, honey.
Thank you.
I want the spiral staircase.
My bedroom sits on the roof, but that's a story for another day.
Are you
When you're next to New York? Come visit. We'll have tea on the roof. But the thing that struck me about that video is we're watching a newscast from a foreign country right now that is treating our election and what's going on here as if this was happening in a third world country. Like they're feeling sorry for us. They're showing us boarding up for democracy to happen. This is unfathomable to me that this is America right now.
So embarrassing.
I think the rest of the world has a way better insight into what we're going through because they're looking at us in like a fishbowl here, and we're in this like muck right now. But the rest of the world is just looking at us and feeling so sorry for us now.
I mean, it's almost like there's no way on earth he could win a second term.
No.
It's just karmically and spiritually and logistically, it's just not possible.
I gotta disagree with you guys there.
You'd be surprised.
I disagree as well.
Yeah.
Now, see, I think the United States actually needed him to bring us back to our senses. We'd gotten so away about caring for people, and I think he is the mirror that we've all looked at ourselves in. Well, we don't want to be him. And we're better than that. And I think it has really brought the world back to our senses.
I like that.
I think what you're saying is absolutely true. He is a mirror of what we are as a country right now. Yep. But I think that there are so many people across this country that despite everything that we're talking about and everything that we see and all the facts and truth and evidence, they support him 100%. They think he is the guy that can fix America, even though he's the one that broke it. They think he's the only one that can fix it, and they are behind him 100%.
But it's a small. It's nowhere near the majority.
I hope you're right, but they don't need majority. They need electoral college majority, and I think that they're going to have it.
But we're going to have the largest states that have the most, and we're going to win Georgia, Texas, and all of the Rust Belt that he won before. So, I mean, there's no way Joe's going to lose.
I never thought that Hillary was going to lose.
I did.
And I mean, and that was close. That was way close. And actually, there was a moment I was like, oh, I could actually see it going for Trump. But when that actually happened, the shock that I was in, having to reel that Donald Trump was going to be our president for the next 4 years, was earth-shattering to me. And because of that, I'm wary to ever think that we're out of the woods in any capacity and even call it like.
And I want you to remember, this is not 2016, and Joe is not Hillary. Hillary had a lot of bad baggage before and she was not the best candidate.
No, and she never took off those friggin' pantsuits and went up to the countryside to meet the people. She was always in the cities, and everything was glamorous, and the celebrities that were like trouncing around her were not strategic enough. They just kind of did it for the publicity, and it was bad.
I know her husband, and I love Bill Clinton, but Hillary ain't Bill. She's smarter than Bill, but she has no personality. And for a candidate to win, they have to have that relatability, and nobody could relate to Hillary, not even me.
Yeah, it's the fact is, Trump does have a chance because they are using all the tactics they can. They're going to be using some lawyers to already fight some of the votes, saying that they're not legit or something. I don't know. Like,
but they lost that case in federal court today to get rid of the 127,000
in Texas.
Yeah, so that's, you know, they can forget all of that.
I mean, I think we always have to remember too that who does Trump really represent, and it's not, you know, the hillbillies and wherever he, you know, his fans are from.
Trump.
He represents the 1%. Let's not forget that. And the money talks. Money and power have always talked.
But
and
honey, Joe has raised more money than anybody ever.
Sure, but that's the only thing that that really scares me is people that don't want the status quo to change. And, you know, want things to stay the way that they are, you know, or have his back. And so, you know, believe me, I know that the majority of people do not like Trump, but those are the kind of things that.
But come on, have some faith, y'all. We have to be the ones that's going, there's no way he's going to win. Put it out to the universe. Don't have doubts.
The cat is out of the bag, you know?
It's done.
All of his normal support, all of his sycophant government supporters, like his Senate, they're all going to see him lose whatever percentage, and they're going to know that there's no there. He can make whatever stink he wants. I believe that what we saw, and this is the biggest thing that I think is the best part of his presidency, is that it's going to be. You think the Women's March in January of 2017 was anything? I think if he comes up with his shenanigans, you're going to see what happened in Poland times 10, because
I agree.
The Black Lives Matter, the women's movement, the gays, anybody who's ever done anything, whatever, it's gonna.
All of us bitches are going to be marching.
We will be there for sure.
And I want to remind y'all of one thing: Mitch McConnell in Kentucky. They had a race in Kentucky where the governor's race in 2018, and the Republican that was the governor lost the race by 1,000 votes, and he was going to go to court and he was going to do it. Honey, Mitch told him to get out, and I guarantee you that's exactly what's going to happen when Trump loses. He's going to say, "Get out," and shut your mouth, because they're all going to come out against Trump after he loses.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you're right on all of that, but like just taking Pennsylvania, for example, like they've declared as a state, they're not allowed to look at the early voting until the day of the election. And they've said that they have so many that have come in, they're not going to start doing it till Wednesday. So Tuesday night, if all of the Trump supporters go out and vote in person,
it still won't matter.
But he will declare victory, and then it'll start going to the courts, and we're going to be divided as a country because half of them.
We're already divided.
We are, but I think it's going to get even worse. I honestly believe.
And I'm going to guarantee you something. The only station that will carry him saying he's the winner is Fox, because NBC, all of the other ones have already said they will carry him talking.
He doesn't have the legal standing to declare anything. He's like a windbag.
It's the states that declare the winners, not him.
But it never stops him from talking.
Exactly.
Yes, but they're not going to carry him on television.
Misinformation out there. He acts just like a dictator. We've seen this. We know this. He does things that are so unethical that. I mean, it's a wonder that he's still in office and people still support him. I mean, every single time he does something, I'm like, I guess I'm not shocked anymore. Like, I'm prepared for the worst, I guess.
Honey, I was shocked that somebody that's been married 3 times became president. I mean, in my lifetime, I can remember you couldn't even be divorced.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you something. It won't matter. Fox is going to be the only one that carries his speech that night. So the other networks, they won't even carry it. And everybody already knows it's meaningless what he said.
Right.
Except for the people that listen to Fox, and that's a lot of people across this country, and they are the ones that are going to cause dissent among the union. They're going to divide.
But it won't matter. Trust me. You got to believe. You got to believe.
I believe with all my heart. I want to believe, but I think that what's actually going to happen is going to be a lot of unrest and disillusionment with the government, with the union. I think that no matter who wins, unless it's a landslide, that we are going to have such a rift in this country, it's going to be hard to repair it.
But I'm going to tell you something. You're going to see Florida come in tomorrow night. You're going to see Texas come in tomorrow night. South Carolina will come in tomorrow night. North Carolina will come in tomorrow night. If any of those states go blue, Georgia will come in tomorrow night. If any of those go blue, there's no way he can win.
If it's a landslide, I agree with you 100%. Yes, if those states come in, we're fine.
Well, we know they're going to come in because they've already counted the early vote, and it's going to come in fast. So, if Florida goes blue, Texas goes blue, Georgia goes blue, there ain't no way he can win.
If Texas and Georgia goes blue, then yes, I agree with you 100%.
And they will all be finished by 11 o'clock tomorrow night.
But even to Rick's point, if in fact it becomes a situation where it's not a landslide, but he's a winner, and Trump decides to go into his usual crap, the reality is the law is not on his side.
Correct.
If there is a clear winner, whether it's by 2 points or 7, the fact remains that at that point, the army is no longer his to play with. As of, we may have
January the 20th.
Yeah, we may have a few weird months. I'll give you that. I give you that. No matter what, there's going to be dissent and insanity and this and that, because we're living in this reality show with the worst cliffhanger on earth. You know what I mean?
Who shot JR?
It's even more intense. I can't.
But if Donald Trump is involved, you know that it's just going to be messy.
But let's all remember how bullies act. Bullies are big talkers, but no action. And he's a schoolyard bully, and he's gonna go down quick. And when Mitch and all of them turn against him, he won't have any way of keeping this going.
I just want to say something with that. His supporters are really trying right now to start something, because there was posts I saw where people were literally posting themselves holding guns and rifles that they bought at Walmart, and they were saying, if Biden gets elected, so and so, so and so. But I just have a special message for those people. The rules are going to be completely changed. The laws are going to be completely changed. So if you thought you could buy yourself a whole bunch of guns from Walmart, well, that's great. You're going to be getting arrested for it this time. There will no longer be any, you can get away with this crime. No, they're changing the judicial system. Everything's changing. So they're not going to be able to get away with that. Whatever they're planning, it's not going to work.
Amen.
I like that's what we're thinking.
Let's don't be afraid.
Right.
So Trump is running out of money. And these comments are quite a few comments I've seen right just now is talking about how Trump is actually not doing so well financially with his campaign. I think actually he's been taking money. He's been taking money from his campaign money, putting it overseas. So he's actually just funneling money because he knows he's going to need it when he loses, and he's going to need to move to another country like France. And he already has money in Swiss bank accounts and other foreign bank accounts. He's got tons of money. He's got money in Turkey.
A fortune, honey. He's
going
down.
He can go to Turkey. He can fly to Turkey on a flight and just never come back.
Well, he's got his own airplane.
If they accept him there.
They will accept him. He's good friends with
Erdogan.
Yeah, you guys, Trump is good friends with Erdogan. He's friends with a lot of the dictators. He can live in Turkey. Maybe he can make friends in the Philippines, but probably most likely it'd be Turkey, or he would live in France. I'm guessing France, because France will not ship him back to the United States. They will keep him there in France.
Can you imagine Trump in the Philippines with that humidity?
Yeah, he would have to.
His face would be melting off.
He would have to reapply his makeup 10 times a day.
That hair would be laying all over the place.
I wanted to throw this out there, and maybe I'm wrong, but has anybody seen at all Bill Barr for the past week to 2 weeks?
No, baby, he's gone.
I think he's dead. I think he died of COVID.
Bill Barr.
We can only hope.
No, he's been apparently. I mean, I've been looking to because it's weird because especially now apparently they said he's going to send out some troops on tomorrow to various cities. But the thing is, it's not like he didn't come out and say it. It's not. He's physically nowhere to be found. So I think he
should be easy to find if he's alive. You know, one of my things was he's big as a bus, and it got everybody all around.
I think he's in the hospital, COVIDed out. That's my
Bernita, she said that like the states are giving him money to fund his rallies because like they're loaning him money, hoping that he'll win. But yeah, I mean that's just what the comment says. I don't know. I'm just repeating the comment.
Honey, all the states are broke. There's no states that have any money to give him.
Well, they don't have money for the buses to take people back from the cold. Like he just thought that people were magically gonna go walk back to their cars 5 miles away. I don't know what he was thinking when he left people out there to freeze to death.
They did have tip jars in the buses, so I'm assuming that they think they're not going to get paid because all of the different buses had a little tip jar and nobody put anything in.
Yeah, they should have paid the bus drivers.
Not surprising.
If my family can come over here and Poland with nothing, they can find their way back home if they want to listen to that ugly piece of poop.
That guy from Arizona said that he still owed Arizona $80,000 from like the last go round, and that they only said you can only pay if you pay up. So they had to scrumble up 80 grand. I mean, it sounds like me and my finances, you know, like.
It sounds like all of us. None of us have worked since November.
So this comment says Bill Barr is on a respirator. I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe.
Bless his heart.
I think that Pence definitely had COVID-19. Pence for sure had COVID. I think they just don't want to talk about it.
That pink guy though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he had an STD from screwing around with Lindsey Graham.
From mother.
You know, I can't wait for all of this salacious like gossip to come out eventually because it will.
Yeah.
And you know it.
I can't wait until Pence comes out.
Yeah. Honestly, we've got still 2.5 more months of Donald Trump, and there's going to be a lot of juicy things to talk about for politics wise. I don't really want to talk about it, but I mean, if you guys are here talking about it, I'll join you guys and we can keep on doing this thing.
We need your little thing for all of us to get together.
Yeah, I know.
I don't have it. And I don't know how to do it.
I know. That's why I'm doing it. I like this, and we're doing this together. I mean, it's great. It's a great community we've built. I mean, there's 30 of us. We've got all new people that haven't actually done a live stream together, or there's some of you guys that have done it together, but like it's Rick's first time doing it with Abe, and then
I finally
Mr. Jahko's first time doing it with Rick, I guess. I mean, it's just a lot of people's first times. Maybe not actually, but it's
and you
just
know what? It's
not our first time doing anything.
You're not a virgin?
Can I thank you for creating this community? You've been so lovely, and you've been so kind and generous, and I really appreciate what you're doing with all of this. I couldn't have done this on my own, and you've been amazing. Thank you.
I just love to network. It's what I do. When I was in a band, I used to network with all the different bands and go, you know, talk to them in their rooms. And I mean, we used to have practice spots with all these musicians, and even some famous bands like Papa Roach. They used to practice in the same building as us, and other bigger bands that used to open up for Papa Roach. And just, it was Sacramento, and there was a lot of bands, and I was the networker of the band. So all the band members knew me. I'm just doing the same thing on the internet. So I'm talking to people online, getting them to join, and you know, it's built up. We even had another live stream. NIKKINOO and Ryan, and then a lot of other people. They had their their other live stream that happened earlier today, which is really good. Like, this is what I wanted. I want us to all grow together, do multiple live streams.
We love you, Bert.
Yeah, and I mean, NIKKINOO
You're like
will.
a kind person. I'm not.
Oh, thank you.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like
I'm going to Asia with him.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's definitely.
Can we all go? We all want to go on vacation. Let's go.
When it opens up again, we have to first get Biden into office, and then if Trump is in office, it'll be another year until we can go to Asia safely. So that's a big problem.
Honey, we're going before a year because I'm stuff you've been eating.
Yeah, no, a lot of it's really good.
That stuff that's got intestines in it.
No, no baby duck inside of an egg.
No.
I'd like to say that I think no matter what, these next 3 months, TikTok and these kind of conversations is going to be full on, because there's going to be so much. Whether Rik is right or Amanda's right, there's going to be stuff. But
I'm Jewish. I'm always going to be right.
But I also believe that when Biden takes office, I still think there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about. The healing process that this country needs to go through, that first year, is going to be like a wild situation. Things won't work smoothly. It's not like he's marching into the office and everything's going to be tra-la-la. He has to undo a lot of stuff that's going to cause a lot of anxiety.
It's going to be a year before we're back to just halfway normal.
You know what I've said since? Oh, I'm echoing. I've said since the beginning of 2020, or since all this happened, that we're all going through like a trauma right now. And when you're in a trauma, you don't really know what's happening. And when you're out of it, you can like have introspection, and you can like kind of, you know, figure out what happened to you and work through your emotions. And we're all going to need to do that next year.
Yeah. There's a whole new level of reconstruction that's going to happen like we had after the Civil War. I mean, it's not quite the same thing, but it's going to have to happen. How do we bring the Trump supporters into America if Biden wins? And transversely, if Trump wins, how do we bring us into America?
That's why he can't win, because I don't see how I personally will not put down my arms and accept that. I would either have to leave the country for a while just to clear out my head. I mean, I know for myself, the emotional battle that's going on, just the fact that we have to have the kind of conversations that we're hearing, the kind of things that people are saying to each other and treating each other. It's like, I don't know that there is a way to get on the other side of that and stay in this country. For millions
for 4 years
alone, I'm sure.
You guys, I just got a comment from Soaring Feather, and he talked about, like, Trump might try to take away Obamacare in his last 2 months just to get rid of it, because it's one of the things that the Republicans want. I mean, how crazy would it be if he loses this election and he uses his 2 months to just get rid of Obamacare, and then it's going to be gone when Biden comes in. Biden can't just say and flip a switch and say, oh, it's back on. He needs to go through the Supreme Court and go through a lot of different loops.
But remember, Trump does not have the power to take away Obamacare.
But they do with Barrett. With Barrett, the new one, the new Supreme Judge.
As much as she might be a thorn, I don't see her making that decision. She does not want to have a lifelong reputation of having the responsibility of killing potentially millions of people.
You saw his...
Roberts will not allow it, I can assure you.
Yeah.
I think that it's very possible they might try to do this. Maggie, what were you going to say?
I was saying you saw the Leslie Stahl interview. He came out with that giant book full of executive orders and nothing more. And let's not forget, he keeps saying that he's got a plan that's coming in 2 weeks. It'll be here in 2 weeks. It's almost around the corner. He can't, if he is hell-bent on destroying everything that Obama has ever put in place. So I don't doubt that he will try. Absolutely, as he should be. But he will do anything to, undo his legacy and leave us high and dry. I wouldn't put it past him.
Just to Bert's point about he has to go through all these steps, no matter what, when Biden wins, he's not going to win. Oh, he's not winning in a bubble. We're going to have the Senate, and we most likely will have the House. So anything that has to happen, it's going to be unlike when we had it originally, when Obama had the full-on Democrats and everywhere, where they totally didn't get anything together. I think that is the learning curve that can never happen again.
Agreed.
That is very true.
We already have the House, and we're going to win more seats this time, and we're going to win the Senate. So, you know, it's not going to be like they're not going to have any power. And, you know, I've even seen people, well, if Trump wins, he's going to change the thing where he can run on the third. Honey, that is an amendment that you have. There's no way he has the power to do that. Everybody needs to study the Constitution to see what he can do and what he can't do. I mean, it takes an amendment to a Constitution to get terms, you know, and 3/4 of the states have to agree to it.
In Mr. Jahko's state of Florida, they have got the Constitution all mixed up because they say that you cannot like show up in any groups of over like 10 people. You can get a felony if you're like protesting, or if you're in a group that's of multiple people. You can get a felony right now in Florida. That's true, right, Mr. Jahko?
Yeah, they're just nuts over here. At this point, I'm just like hoping they turn blue because I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of people out here that don't even know the laws. Some people are just out here vandalizing Biden-Harris signs for no reason, just because there's not enough Trump signs out here.
I'm sure there's been a few Trump signs that's been destroyed.
Oh yeah, there were big ones, huge.
So there's actually like even Barrett. She did not know the Constitution. She did not know that one about assembly or like
she didn't know
freedom
that.
of protest. She didn't know that one.
But dear God, if I was sitting there, I couldn't do it either.
Well, her job is to be a judge. It's her job to be like studying the law. It's like if you don't know what a lens is on your camera, you don't know the difference between a camera that's like a lens or without a lens. Like you think that if you're a photographer,
I'm an actress and I've forgotten my lines before, I can assure you.
It's like Rick as a photographer not knowing the difference between a mirrorless camera and a whatever, like the difference between these different cameras. Like if Rick doesn't know that, he knows all of it. He knows like every little thing about cameras. He's gonna know. He's gonna know the different lenses that are more wide, the longer lens. He's gonna know everything. Barrett should know these things because her job is just this. Right?
I agree with that.
Remember that when she was there doing the confirmation hearings, the Republicans were asking her the most ridiculous questions, like, did you take high school French? Like, do you play any instruments? Like, you know, she probably was just walking in and was like, I don't have to know anything. They're going to ask me about whatever. I mean,
and then you're not going to answer it.
And she's not going to answer it.
I'm sorry, I can't answer it.
I still think that her first big case, which is going to be the ACA, she'd much rather hang on until she could get rid of abortion. That's her commitment on earth. And I don't think she wants to be the woman who was responsible for potentially kids dying. I just don't see it. I'd like to believe.
Y'all have to understand that Roberts does not want that on. I mean, he voted with the Democrats, and Roberts does not want the Supreme Court to be politicized. And he's going to go to every one of them and, you know, say, now you don't want this on your watch.
Right. And he also is not going to want, if it goes to the Supreme Court like it did with Gore, he's not going to want that either. Yeah, let's give it to Trump. He hates
you.
He hates
Rick, did you have something to say just a second ago?
No.
Oh, okay.
A comment.
We love Rick and we talk a lot.
You guys are awesome.
I found a comment here that I was going to reply to. So they said Trump supporters have always been there, even before Trump. They'll just go back into hiding. They can't go back into hiding. First of all,
We know
you
who
already
they
showed
are.
your true colors. You showed who you are. So just because Trump went away doesn't mean that you go away or whatever you stood for goes away. We know you're against the LGBTQ. We know you're racist. We know you're a white supremacist. You can't just crawl back in your hole. Once you come out, that's it. We know who you are. We know what you stood for.
Just go to any Southern Baptist church and you'll see his bunch there.
You know what? That's actually an interesting point that both of you brought up. Like, okay, so moving forward, let's assume that Biden wins and we get through this election. What do we do to all the people that have been so staunchly against, Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ? Like, how do we deal with Americans, our neighbors, that are so against all this?
I hate to sound like a Christian, but there'll have to be a coming to Jesus moment. We're going to have to reconcile. It's just the way it is. There was on NPR, I was listening out in Balboa Island, which is off Newport Beach.
Yep.
This guy was saying, we are full 50% Biden and 50% Trump, but we live together in harmony otherwise. So we've already started coming together before the results come in, because we know that as of Wednesday and Thursday, we're neighbors and we're going to still need help if there's a flood or this or that. So I just kind of think they're more mature than most of the people that are like dancing at airports.
And really, it's 50-50. We're 20, 10, 15. And there's a lot of groups out there that has a person. Why are we have these bouts where we're
echoey? It's echoey. Yeah, it's because some of us are maybe not using headphones like these, or they're playing the video. Maybe one or two of us, I don't know. It's better to have headphones with a microphone attached to it. But yeah, anyways.
You know what I think?
You know what I
think though, and I've actually.
Go ahead. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
No, I've thought about this for like a post-election TikTok, and what would like the dating world look like after all of this is all said and done. The number one question is going to be, so who did you vote for?
That's a sitcom right there.
Well, it'll be a TikTok. I've already been planning it, but it's like you can't. It's like the same thing as becoming friends with a Trump supporter. People are really like, nope, you had your shot. I gave you, a pass after 2016, but after this one, there's no pass anymore. So I think that's where a lot of people stand, and finding that reconciliation is going to be very difficult. I mean, for a big majority of this country, because the rest of the country is not like Balboa Island. Believe me, I used to live in Newport. It's not like that. It's very, very different.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a challenge for sure. But listen, we got through, America got through World War II, the Vietnam War. This is ultimately like not as bad. You know what I mean? I just kind of think that
all of this will wash away and it'll be fine.
Actually, it is pretty bad because Trump knew about this virus back in February. I don't know why people are not furious about this. Like, Trump could have done the right measures. I might have even voted for him. If he kept us safe during this pandemic and did everything right, I might be voting for him, because I'd be like, well, he did the right things for the pandemic. He followed the pandemic playbook. He did the right things and listened to the experts. The fact is, he's not listening to the experts. I only started getting political because of the coronavirus. That's the only reason I ever did. I started getting political on March 2nd, officially on my YouTube channel. On like February 15th, I was like, Trump is kind of not taking this very seriously, but he did block the flights from China on the 29th of January. I'm glad he blocked the flights from China. That was a good step. But then I realized he's letting all the Americans just come in with no quarantine. So I was like, that's a serious problem, actually. Like, once I realized that on February 10th, I was like, that's pretty bizarre. Like, he isn't really doing his full job. But like by March 2nd, I was like full on. He was just saying there's only 10 cases or 14 cases, and we're going to get them all taken care of. By next week, we'll be down to 4 cases. And he's just making this stuff up. And we had this one doctor come on saying, if we don't get the tests, we are going to have a big problem on our hands. And I saw him do this on NBC. It wasn't Dr. Fauci. It was another doctor, much more, he told us what was going to happen, and it really did happen. I used part of that news clip on CNBC on my video for, it's called the Bill Gates predicted the pandemic. I made that video. And so the doctor was very intense. He was very intense. And it was like March 5th or February 29th or something. February, because this year there was a late leap year. It was like February 29th. He was like talking about like all this stuff and how serious this situation was. And, Trump just still played it down. And he wanted the stock market to not react. Just like scared that the stock market is going to have problems. That is all Trump thought about in the month of March was the stock market. And then since he didn't take care of this problem, and he knew it was an election year, he thought this was going to just be a problem to wash away on its own. Like, oh, we're going to probably get like 20 cases or 50 cases, and we'll just track them down. But he didn't set up the testing. We needed the testing. That's what we needed. And we were way too late. And it's not just Trump's fault. It's other people's fault. But the thing is, when you're the president of the United States, you have a responsibility. That is to make sure that everybody is doing their job, and you need to be worried about this stuff.
All he does is watch television. He's the dumbest person that's ever been president.
Absolutely.
The dumbest.
He tweets and he watches TV and
he gets his crap off of television to tweet.
He watches Tucker Carlson. That's his first problem. I mean, Tucker Carlson is just a drama queen. Yeah. Yeah, no,
I want to call him something else, but today at Trump's rally, he was saying that he may fire Dr. Fauci. And the dumbass doesn't even know he can't fire him.
Right.
That's what's so stupid. He doesn't have the power to fire him.
I've got a quick video to play of Don Jr. talking about, kind of doing the same thing. Doing the same thing as
let me go get some
father
cocaine.
Yeah. He's doing the same thing that his father did back in March, just playing this thing down still. But the difference is now we've got the real numbers in, and they're not going down. We are getting 100,000 cases a day now.
A day.
That's more than all of Europe combined. And Europe is going under lockdown again. UK just went under lockdown. Ireland went under lockdown. They're all going under a new lockdown.
Germany.
They want to make sure they get a reset before the winter is here. It's already here. The winter's already here. But anyways, here's the video of Trump Jr. I mean, he's the worst.
The reality is this. If you look, I put it up on my Instagram a couple days ago because I went through the CDC data because I kept hearing about new infections. But I was like, well, why aren't they talking about this? Oh, because the number is almost nothing. Because we've gotten control of this thing. We understand how it works. They have the therapeutics to be able to deal with this. If you look at that, look at my Instagram, it's gone to almost nothing.
You guys, I couldn't play that anymore because
check
it's just
out
a
my
little bit boring.
Insta.
Yeah, he's plugging his Instagram. I was just going to say that, Maggie. I was just going to say he is plugging his Instagram because he's like, oh, the algorithm doesn't like my Instagram.
But
and he's
you
like,
got to remember that he has a daddy problem. Trump was never his big fan, so he's trying to get the love from his daddy, and he ain't never going to get it.
Yeah, and so it's like we're supposed to look at Don Jr.'s Instagram to learn about the coronavirus statistics. We're going to learn from his Instagram and learn that, the coronavirus isn't a big deal. And we're going to trust his Instagram because it's going to be a reliable source. That is not fake news. His Instagram is real news, but, CNBC is fake.
It is. They think it is. That's the part that's insane. They're like, we better go look at Don Jr.'s Instagram. We need some facts here, guys.
Clarity.
And the thing is, Instagram is probably blocking him a little bit because he's sharing false news, and that.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah, they will make your algorithm go down, like just like YouTube has made my algorithm go down. It's I mean, since I started talking about COVID-19 a lot in my videos back in March and February, it was very taboo. YouTube was like, don't talk about it, or else we're gonna put you into shadow ban mode. And I've been in shadow ban mode for a long time. As you can see, I've only had like one video go semi-viral, 14,000 views. I mean, it's nothing. I used to get videos to getting 130,000 views and 120,000 views. I mean, all these good numbers. And now, oh yeah, 14,000 views. It's fine. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, because I went to talk about COVID-19, I get shadow banned, and I try to get the facts. I bring in doctors to tell us about COVID-19. I do my very best. Maggie knows this.
And then he brings us.
Yeah, well, I bring in doctors. Maggie was on the episode with the doctors, right, Maggie?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
Yeah. And who else was there? I think just Maggie, right?
Yeah, I was there. It was amazing. And, you know, they've got such a, you know, vast array of information, and they are getting it out there in all sorts of platforms. But you hear them, they're on YouTube, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, they're on all these handles, and still probably not getting all the information out there. But what they had to say was phenomenal.
We had Christina, and then we had Survival Doctor, Mr. Tan.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, they were great. They were really informative, and they talked about a lot of stuff. If you just go to Christina's channel, just type in TikTok, Christina, and just add a whole bunch of A's under Christina, you'll find her instantly. I'm sure you guys all know her. I mean,
I love all of your posts you've done. I mean,
Yeah.
you've been so informative, but you've got to be receptive to facts.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, the facts are that, you know, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and you got to filter them out. So yeah, I mean, that's why I really like Christina's YouTube channel. And I think Jahko, you also know Christina too, right?
Yes, I was there when they had that incident where someone was basically saying you don't have to wear a mask because it makes you more sick or whatever foolishness they came up.
They were saying you shouldn't wear a mask because you're going to get strep throat.
Oh,
and it was misinformation, and that account actually ended up getting like deleted.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe she got deleted, or maybe she deleted herself after that because like she got so much hate. I don't know. Maybe people tracked her down. I have no idea. I don't know, but it was not nice.
I'm surprised I hadn't been shut down.
Yeah, I mean, it is a crazy time right now. But
listen, the reality is he's a murderer, and I've been saying it pretty much as many times as I can, because to have a murder, an admitted murderer, which is what he is, because he says things that are not true, which means you're steering people to make decisions that will bring you death. The fact that he's even allowed to run for a second term is something very wrong with our Justice Department.
Amen.
And
He is so unqualified for this job.
Yes.
Like,
he's never been qualified.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I've said this before, I think, on here, but has anyone ever gone for a government job before? And the level of like intrusiveness and background checks and qualifications that you have to have for a lot of government jobs is outstanding. And yet he can just waltz right in, being a TV show host, and think that he can be in charge of the free world, and deal with the array of problems that we already have and the new ones that that have, you know, come to existence, like this pandemic. I mean, it's insane.
If you can believe it, gang. Out of college, I worked for the Federal Reserve Bank, and when they recruited me, I was in the first bunch of women management trainee people, and I didn't even know what the Federal Reserve Bank was. And I was like, sure, you know, it's a job. But I mean, the stuff that I found out after going there, I mean, I went through background checks like you can't believe. And when, you know, they took office, if y'all remember, they tried not to give Ivanka's husband a clearance.
Yep.
and he gave it to him, and he shouldn't have had one.
Yeah, he pushed it through.
Yeah,
Jared-
he pushed it through.
Jared
no
is
way
like
that-
an evil stepchild that
And
just
he's
looks,
turned you. That's what I just can't believe.
he looks evil. He's always looked evil to me, and I didn't know who he was at first. But then, like this year, since I've been like watching the news, before was when I was living in Beijing, I didn't watch that much news. I noticed Jared there sometimes, but I was like, I don't know who he is. But now I see everybody, and then I know that Jared said the things like about New York City, oh, just let him get COVID. It's just a Democrat problem, a Democrat state problem, and we can get them all fired from their job. And that was his plan. And then now look at it.
Honey,
It's all
think
red
about-
states.
Just
He
think
got bit
about
by the
this.
power
His
bug.
daddy went to jail. You know, Jared's father was in prison for campaign finance stuff. And Jared is a pretty little boy that's going to be somebody's bitch in prison.
Meanwhile, just a little piece of gossip. I know the guy who took Jared's SATs.
Wow.
I think it's very likely that
We're
a
getting
lot
off
of
the
them.
ski here tonight.
I'm telling you, baby.
I think
Steve
it's
did.
very likely that some of them will end up in jail. Like Jared, I think
Ooh,
if you just
he's gonna be
decide you're in
great.
charge of saving lives, you're in charge of the pandemic team that goes in to test and goes into New York City and tries to do the first round of saving lives. He was like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't feel like it. Just let them go. They're Democrats. We don't need them. And they're going to not help my father-in-law get reelected. So let's just go let them do their thing.
That he hired his friend from camp to be the guy who's in charge of overseeing loaning money, American taxpayer dollars, to foreign companies. Like, you don't think they were both in on scamming on the shaving off percentages for themselves?
Honey,
I mean-
he's having to pay for 666 Fifth Avenue.
Good
Yeah.
point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's
They
really
owe $1
That's his
billion
address?
on that building.
I mean, your camp friend? I mean, how Jewish?
Honey, the
That
people I
sounds
met
so
at camp, I
suburban
wouldn't
Jewish.
want them over anything.
You guys, I have a great video to play. This is just another Trump video of this week, basically. I'm not sure if it's the one where the bus gets driven off the road and the FBI is trying to find out who's doing that or whatever, but
Honey,
it's one
there's
of
a
the videos.
video. They can see their tag numbers.
Yeah, no, there's multiple videos, but here it is. I think this is it.
But it is something. Do you see the way our people, they were protecting his bus yesterday because they're nice. So his bus, they had hundreds of cars. Trump, and the American flag. That's it. You see Trump and American flag. Do you ever notice when you see the other side? I don't even see much of the other side. You don't see any. They have no spirit. They have no enthusiasm. They have no nothing. But you know what? I don't see them. But whenever you see like a small group, because there's got to be small, because there's nobody around, nobody cares. But you see these groups, you never see an American flag. I always say, if you look at a group and you don't see the American flag, you know that's the opposition, you know? And I say that Congress, and I'm going to do very hard for this because we have to go through a big deal, but I say when somebody burns the American flag, they should go to jail for 1 year. Mr. Biden-Harris agenda was projected and is projected to, if you go by their crazy plan, Wall Street Journal, you're going to lose $6,000. They're going to take it out, and they're going to waste it. But it's not 6, it's much more than that. And we're going up to a substantial number, and that's not including energy. And if you think about energy, when you're at $2 and your electric bills are nice and low, when they get rid of all our petroleum products and other things, everything, and they go to wind. Let's build windmills all over the place. Let's litter the landscape. Let's have littered the landscape. You know, when you build a windmill, I'm not against wind. It should be in industrial areas, maybe. But it's very expensive, very expensive. And if you want to see a lot of dead birds, all you have to do is go to the bottom of a windmill. If you'd like to see a lot of dead birds, go to the bottom of, they pile up. They don't know what to do with them. I'll tell you, it's crazy. And they're environmentalists. They want wind. And when the wind doesn't blow, let's watch President Trump's speech tonight, State of the Union. He's done very nice State of the Union with Nancy ripping it up in the back. Crazy day. Let's watch President Trump. Let's watch And the husband will say, darling, I'm sorry, we can't. The wind.
He wants to put people in jail. He wants to put people in jail for burning the flag for 1 year. I mean, that's crazy.
And he wants to go collect the dead birds.
No one knows more about the birds or the wind than he does.
Yeah. Well, Maggie here is the expert on the wind. She made the video for the wind in Trump.
Hey
What do you
guys,
think?
it's me, the wind. He's ridiculous, and he can't even formulate a sentence. They don't even know what to do with the birds. They're just piling up the birds.
Well, cats kill more. House cats kill more birds than windmills do per year.
I mean, he's just a joke, and everything he says is just like out of nowhere. I mean, it's just, we need to just be done with him.
There's nothing else, honey. He's just an idiot.
He's an idiot.
You know, and his supporters are suffering from two things. Stockholm syndrome, as well as, celebrity sycophancy. So that's like two of the scariest things, because you're so blinded by what the truth is in both of those situations. I mean, one on its own, either one separately. I mean, I was told recently that when he had those casinos in New Jersey, that those kind of people would run to him. They'd be like, oh, they want to touch him when he would walk through, where people were gambling. So it's that same crowd of like those people that gamble, the ones that put coins in the slots. And it's like, ugh, so it's this kind of, they have no sense of self-respect, and they put all that power onto him. And it's really the scariest part of how they're going to heal. Getting back to the healing of America, I mean, they're gonna have to kind of, he's gonna have to be out of the mainstream for at least a few months for them to kind of come back to some kind of remote center. It's just, there's no other ways to think about it.
I mean, that's how it was. Sorry, that's how it was today. I mean, it was like when you see those teenage girls at the Beatles concert and how crazy they were. That's how people were today when Trump came on the stage.
So crazy.
Rick, how do you feel that this will be the last Trump rally you ever go to in your whole life? Unless you're going to one tomorrow, which I don't think that he's going to have one tomorrow. Is he?
I am. I have no idea, but I'm not going to it. I went to one, and that was the last
toxic enough.
Yeah.
It's the bucket list you didn't know you needed or wanted.
Well, I went to different like rallies that he wasn't at. This was the first one. I had signed up for the Green Bay one, but that's when he got COVID, so I redirected around Green Bay. But this was the first one I went to that he was actually there, and there was a fervor there.
Did you interview anybody? Did you interview people at all?
No, they wouldn't allow my cameras in. They had this whole list of things that you aren't. I should read it to you. This whole list of things you can't bring in. One of them was you can't bring in appliances, i.e. toasters. I swear to God, that was verbatim. But we're allowed to bring in cameras. And when I showed up with my cameras, they said no. I brought in the phone, so everything I shot was on my iPhone.
But like, you need to have a backup plan. Anytime you go inside of a place, you have to have a microphone for your phone, one of those microphones that just plug into your phone, and you have to have maybe a wide angle lens so you can get that microphone closer to your subject so you can interview them, even though it's very loud, but you can get very close and you can have that microphone. Also, you can have the microphone stick out and interview people from a distance like that. So there's many tricks you can do.
I had my photo camera and my video camera, and I was ready to go in, and they stopped me and they said, you can't bring that in. And I said, it's not on the list. And they're like, F off. And that was it.
Man. Wow. Yeah, but that's why you got to have the backup plan always. I mean, get a Note 10. Note 10s are great for making a video. They've got a very wide angle lens, and you can plug in that microphone, get great audio. No one will ever know the difference between a Note 10 and a proper camera that you have. I mean, not that I definitely prefer to use a proper camera. Into
2 or 3 of them, and he films it. And I mean, I watched one of his today.
Yeah,
and I mean, he does it. I guess he does it on his phone.
He has a cameraman sometimes, but I think that he mostly does them on his phone, and he uses a gimbal typically. He has a gimbal. He, I think, has a microphone, or maybe his camera, just his smartphone has a really good microphone. It could be a iPhone 10, or maybe iPhone 11, which has a pretty good microphone, honestly. So he could just be having that good setup. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know his setup, but he's good. He's very versatile. Like, he could use a normal phone, good smartphone, or he could have a camera guy. I think his camera guy uses a Sony A7 III.
That's what I have. That's what I use for my video.
That's what you also use?
Yeah,
Rick,
A7 IIIR.
That's an amazing camera. I mean, it's like the newest one, the S is like $4,000 or something, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
The new one is really good. I mean, I was thinking about getting the A7 III, but the problem is you don't flip out the screen. I have a GH5 instead.
The A7 IIIR does. The screen flips out. Yeah, it goes up and down. It doesn't go left and right, though.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Rick, what are you using right now?
At the very moment, my computer. Or do you mean just...
Yeah, because your light is great.
That's just my lighting in my apartment. But thank you. Yeah. You are so kind. You are such a kind human being.
Honey, I just tell it like I see it.
So you guys, I'm going to play one more video and then we'll do our outros and kind of wrap up, I guess. We have done a great live stream, and thank you guys so much for watching. Everybody that stuck around.
I loved it so much.
I mean, we had actually 40 people in the room just from all of our streams at the same time. We had like 40 people, which is really not bad for our channels. Like, we're very small. Like, all of us are very small, but honestly, 40 people watching right now. That tells the algorithm in YouTube.
I'm getting bigger with eating through this pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
I love you, Amanda. You're so great.
Here is the video, though, the last video I'll play, and then we're going to do our outros. We're going to talk about our channels and stuff.
An election in the middle of a pandemic with a president who's been claiming for months the only way he can lose is if the vote is rigged.
Fraud. That's what they want. Fraud.
These are unusual circumstances, prompting law enforcement officials across the country to prepare for potential election day unrest. Democratic officials say they had to cancel campaign events in Texas on Friday after multiple vehicles flying Trump flags allegedly tried to force a Biden-Harris bus off a highway. The alleged incident, an example of how partisan divides are escalating in the final days before the election. One Donald Trump has warned will be fraudulent.
In Philadelphia, which is notorious for what goes on, we want to have poll watchers.
Trump has called for an army of his supporters to keep an eye on the polls, raising fears in competitive battlegrounds like Pennsylvania around the security of the vote and of voters.
We live in a time where people are radicalized to violence, not only to the actually committing acts of violence, but move from a relatively normal state of mind to a radicalized ideology very quickly.
The state is one of at least 5 that are at risk for militia-style activities around Tuesday's elections. But prosecutors say they won't tolerate any voter intimidation.
I got a jail cell and I got criminal charges.
The International Crisis Group, which monitors conflicts and war zones in developing nations, now turning its attention to the U.S. for the first time. A recent report warns political polarization, the rise of armed groups, and the higher than usual chances of a contested outcome are all risk factors. Then there's the Trump factor.
And probably most importantly, we saw a president, President Trump, who seemed with his words to be courting conflict often rather than trying to calm tensions in the United States. And he's most importantly suggested that he may not be willing to leave office peacefully.
Philadelphia has recently found itself at the center of the president's efforts to sow doubt about the election.
A lot of bad things happen there with the counting of the votes.
But officials there are already keeping watch.
We run an election task force to protect the vote. And of the 24 complaints we've gotten so far on our hotline, none have been serious. But we understand what's in the air, and we are going to be vigilant on Election Day.
In Washington, D.C. this weekend, businesses are once again boarding up following a summer of protests as they prepare for the possibility of post-election conflict or even violence in the streets. For City News, I'm Karen Seolin.
Yeah, so Trump is really inciting this whole thing. This whole thing never has happened before in the history of the United States. We've always had elections just go very smoothly. The transition of power always is just very smooth. Everything's okay, you know. But with Trump, he is going to try to contest the election results, saying that it's not like true. That's why we hope that we can get a very crazy turnout to be like 5 or 10% more than what we expect to on most states, you know?
I just have to say that the other reason why I don't see how physically and emotionally and spiritually that this country could handle another 4 years is because the reality of the past, like history repeats itself, right? That's like a known fact. But in 1923, Hitler wrote Mein Kampf. And by 1933, Dachau was built. And that's a 10-year trajectory from an idea to the beginnings of the implementation of the destruction of a people, okay? Now, I'm not comparing apples to apples, but he started with the whole, birther thing in 2008, 7, right? So this whole movement that's happened through his time in the White House, it's not going to be him that creates the second Nazi Germany. It's going to be the people that take beyond him, so that 10, 20 years from now, we're going to have people in cages. They're already in cages. Blacks, Latinos, it's like when we see how we treated the Native Americans when America was first settled, it's in the DNA of white people. Like it just is. And that's why I just don't think it can happen. I just don't see it happening here. We have laws and
I think the best example of what can happen is that senator from Wisconsin that did the communist thing in the 50s. McCarthy, yeah. That's the best example. And he lasted about 3.5 years. And he was, run out of office. He was censored. And if you remember, Roy Cohn was his assistant.
Right.
And that's who Trump is always, that was one of Trump's best friends was Roy Cohn. And, he even lost his law license over all of that stuff. So McCarthy is the best example of people will listen to that crap for about 2.5, 3 years, and then you get tired of it. And people are tired of Trump. We're weary of him.
Right.
The country can only take so much of that.
One thing I want to say, I read this book about 2 years ago when Trump was in office, and it was an autobiography of a guy who was 7 years old in Germany after World War I. And he writes this book as the Weimar era kind of goes into Nazism. And as I'm reading it, I'm like, okay, well, this isn't us. We didn't just lose the First World War, and we aren't in reparations to the rest of the world. But as you start reading how they looked at Hitler as just this idiot, and they would just let him do this, and okay, he can have that. And all of a sudden, it gets to the point where they cannot turn back. They cannot speak out. There are people in brown shirts who are causing mayhem that we're seeing now, like the trucks and we mentioned earlier the governor in Michigan. Like the things that happened in pre-Nazi Germany are starting to happen now. And you wonder, I used to wonder, how can a country like Germany allow this to happen? When most Germans didn't want this, it's exactly what's happening now. It's one little chip away from democracy, for freedom, from what is moral. And all of a sudden you end up with Nazi Germany. And I hate to say it, but we could potentially be on that trajectory if we don't stop things. And tomorrow is the most important day.
Yeah, and the other reason why the Nazis were able to do what they did and kill people all day and then go home to their kids and their dog and everything was like it was like a separation of mental space, is because the army was given like a lot of drugs, a lot of speed, and a lot of those kind of drugs. And these people are the ones that are on the opiates
and meth.
All his crowd is those are the addicts. So it's the same thing. It's not as good of a
Except
buzz.
they're on down.
There's a town, I don't know where it is. I was hearing about this town that has got only one-way driving. Like you can only drive like through this one road to get to the main city where you vote. And there's a lot of African Americans that live in this area. And I guess the Trumpers have blocked off this area. Like they are watching out for them. It's like they're intimidating them before they even go anywhere. Like they don't want the African Americans to even not just go to the polls, but go to the grocery store, go anywhere, because they are afraid that they're going to go vote. And they are intimidating all the people out right now in these places. I think it's like the red states or the swing states, I mean, like Pennsylvania, like those poll watchers. Like Trump is saying that he wants people to be watching the polls.
With guns.
Yeah. I mean, it's really not appropriate.
Are you familiar with the NFAC, the Not Effing Around Coalition? It's a group of African Americans that have AR-50s, AR-15s. It's amazing. Look it up online. It's the most awesome group of people. So if there's a town like that, they have to get in touch with the NFAC because they will be there in 2 seconds. You know,
I don't know what's going on exactly. I don't know how they're allowed to do this. The Trumpers. It's the Trumpers. It's not the police. It's the Trumpers that are doing this themselves.
Well, they've been
Jahko,
called out to come from Donald Trump, Don Jr. I mean, just like the cars were surrounding the bus the other day. I mean, this kind of behavior has been, brought on by our commander in chief, and he is saying, "I love Texas." I mean, he's emboldening his people to do the wrong thing.
Well, he called them patriots.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. They're so delusional that they don't see that what they're doing is the exact opposite of patriotism.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
the
like
gaslighting of our nation it's gotten so out of hand right now. For misinformation from him. I mean,
we're looking a lot like Belarus. We're looking a little bit like these countries that suppress the vote and they don't have votes. They have got a main central government that decides everything. And Jahko, you had a song. You wanted to say, show us a song that you were working on. Do you still want to show us today?
Sure. So I basically had a song that I made. It was for the elections to get everyone to go out and vote. It's called Vote for Joe. The walls Trump tried to build, soon we'll be knocking them down. Did he really think he was right? Well, he's nothing more than a clown. Don't even know how he got in, but soon he'll be moving out. We gotta go vote for Joe to save our future now. The thing I won't allow, 4 more years with his orange face. It's time for Trump to go. He will not win this race. He called our people poor and tried to ban them without a trace. I had to let you know. With this, I rest my case. And that's it.
Hey!
That was great.
Y'all might not believe it, but I have a single that's going to drop on November the 16th.
You want to give us a little preview?
No.
Jahko,
you need the whole studio. You need the backup band, girl.
That was a great song.
I'm not going to do that.
That was a really good,
it was fabulous.
Great written song. Like, you should work with Miss Modell also, help her with you're great at writing. You're really, really good, Jahko. I think that there's definitely a future in that. I mean, especially we've got this last 2 months of Trump. These songs could go really viral, really. You should collaborate with all the different musical TikTokers, the guy from Australia, Emerson, and then you should work with Miss Modell. Have you seen her before?
I think so. Does she do the songs and raps?
She does Call Me Maybe, but she does the vote.
Oh, yes, with the remake.
I love that one.
Yes.
Yeah. So she does that one. She's done multiple ones. She does Genie in a Bottle, but vote for Biden genie in a bottle version.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen that one too, right?
Yeah.
It's so fun.
I was so happy I wasn't the only one on that app that was doing that.
Yeah, and I think it'd be so great for you to collaborate with her and, I don't know, do a rap on top of it, just make it 1 minute long on TikTok, and then, I don't know. She's got quite a few followers on YouTube. Like, she's small on TikTok, but big on YouTube. So it's kind of the opposite of you. So it might work really well. I'll link you guys up. Actually, tonight was the plan to link all of the musicians up tonight, but everybody got really tired, actually, and yeah, I mean, we had a lot of people drop off. And then I was like, you wanted to keep going, Jahko. So I was like, well, we can't let Jahko down. So I just started messaging everybody. And we got
I'm
everybody
always
here.
ready to talk about Trump.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's just crazy stuff going on. But
So wait a second. News flash. Twitter had to put a halt to Trump's tweet about Pennsylvania. They kind of did a warning thing. They flagged him an hour ago while we were chit-chatting here.
Well, good.
So he's
Not surprising.
That's the same Twitter thing I was trying to tell y'all. He thought he could have that up there because he's spreading false information. Now they're shielding it because he's crazy.
Is that Don Jr. or is that Trump?
No,
that's
it's
doing that?
No, this Trump.
It's
Wow.
I don't even know how to get on Twitter.
I don't understand
You know
Twitter either, but
That's
I
right through the
feel you.
line.
I don't, you know what? It's so angry. It's just a lot of angry people, and I'm actually banned from it because I got into a huge fight with Candace Owen. You know that horrible
I can't
creature?
stand her.
So she and I got into it, and I got banned, and I don't care. I don't miss it at all.
Now, a couple of my videos were put on Twitter and they trended, but I don't even know what that means. But
It
I
means
guess
that you would do very well on Twitter. You should work with someone that can post your stuff on Twitter, and just like,
well, Bert, there's you a job, darling.
yeah, I can help you manage your Twitter account. I can just download your YouTube or your TikTok videos off of YouTube, put them on Twitter, and just give me a shout out sometimes when you're famous.
That had 3 million views. That was the one that got on Twitter, and honey, they said it just went wild. But you know, I don't know nothing about Twitter.
Okay, I can help you.
I don't even know anything about TikTok.
I can help you upload the videos to Twitter and like start your account and then give you the password, and then
Oh, don't give me the password.
No. I mean, it's your account. Like, we're gonna post your videos up there, and
I'm old, remember.
But maybe you can give me to pay me back later when you go really big. You can give me some shout outs later.
Honey, you can shout yourself out on it. You can run it.
Okay, well, I'll try it out. I think you might just explode on Twitter.
Do it, baby. Do it.
I'll do it.
I can't wait to see all y'all in person. Abe, when I get to LA, we'll have to get together, and you too, darling.
100%.
And Rick, when I get to New York, keep your camera ready, baby.
I'm ready. Let's do a photo shoot.
Rick, is your apartment on the Upper West Side? Rick.
Who? No, Rick. I'm at East Village, Alphabet City.
I thought it was the East Village.
Yeah.
I could tell with that little spiral staircase.
Yeah. No, I had one of those on West 78th Street 600 years ago, but whatever.
Yeah. Oh, nice. One of my good friends lives on the west side too, and I stay over there sometimes. There's a French restaurant at Broadway, and I think it's 86. Oh, that's my favorite place to eat.
Is the rent very affordable right now, Rick?
No.
No?
It's dropped down a lot. Like there was a mass exodus. So they're giving like discounts to everyone, but it's still just insane. I mean, for my small apartment, it's
$5,000 a month.
Well, I've been here 25 years, so I'm only paying $2,200.
Oh, wow. That's
good. Not kidding.
Honey, I can tell you, I stay usually on the Upper East Side, and thank God it's just friends of mine that owns an apartment, and they just leave a key with the doorman. But oh my God, I can't even imagine having rent up there.
The greed is out of control.
When I left New York City in like 9 years ago,
but honey, LA ain't no breeze either.
No. I was paying like $3,800 for a 1-bedroom like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So I had to. LA is like a bargain over here.
Yeah.
Not the ones I know in the Hollywood Hills.
Oh yeah. I don't live in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But it's not like my niece
Scientologist,
in
you're
London.
okay.
Her 1-bedroom apartment in London was $6,800 a month.
Whew.
Yeah, London's insane. I don't know how people pay rent there.
Well,
you
her
have to pay
company
every
paid
week.
it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's that.
Yeah.
So you guys, we're ready to kind of wrap up now. I guess we'll just go around in a circle. Maggie, do you want to start off with the outro?
Sure.
Hey.
I love the dogs. Abe, your dogs are so fun. I love your small dog.
That's Alfie.
What's it all about?
How many dogs do you have, Abe? You have 3
2.
dogs?
I have two. I have Alfie, who's a little black one, Chihuahua, and I have a brown Chihuahua named Woodstock, and I have a husband named Shlomi. He just walked in.
That's so funny.
He wants to say hello.
Hey, hello.
Hello, husband.
Hey. Great to see you.
Okay, goodbye.
Maggie, do you want to go first with the
sure.
like?
I'm Mermaidmama Maggie. That's my handle. I'm Maggie Reed, but my handle is Mermaidmama Maggie. I'm primarily on TikTok. I do comedy, political satire, just trying to keep it light and always laughing. So come on down if you like that.
That's great. And we're running on Lord Timothais' channel right now. Go check out Lord Timothais. He's a great guy. He's our friend. He's one of the first ones that joined this live stream. So Lord Timothais, he's in the description down below. He just couldn't join us today because he's very busy, but we are running the stream on his channel. So just a shout out to him. And then Abe, would you like to go next?
I just am on, complaining about the planet, primarily Trump. Focused on Trump. I kind of just speak stream of consciousness, and I cannot imagine how we've got to this place. So that's what I kind of blurb out at least 3 times a day on TikTok. I'm on Instagram too, and I'm just developing my Won't Be Silent YouTube. But the thing is, and I guess and anybody on here, I'm kind of building out the YouTube with interviews. Like the people I've already started, I've done 2. People that I've met on TikTok, I'm doing longer interviews. So, DM me if you're interested and we can just do it. It's like, what's it called? Side by side. Yeah. So not even minute. It's more than a minute. It's, a Zoom. I like them they're like a half hour. I edit it down to like 15 minutes. So if you're interested, I'd love all of you guys.
I'm game for anything as long as I don't have to operate it.
No.
And then we've got Amanda Henn.
Hello, everybody. I'm just the nut that's on TikTok and YouTube. I usually do YouTube with my son, and we do this little blog called No Sex in the City. And I usually go over to Louisville and have lunch with him, and we'll do a TikTok and we'll do a little blog, and we go out and have lunch. I'm gonna fly up to Louisville tomorrow and have lunch with him, and then I got to get home to see the results of the election, and I'm gonna give everybody hell in Palm Beach County, Florida, and I'll go by Mar-a-Lago one of these days and let y'all see it when I moon Trump.
Yes.
And Bert, give everybody my phone number.
Oh yeah.
Lord and I text today.
Oh great. Yeah. No, I can send everybody.
Just share it to everybody.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send it to their Instagrams. I got Maggie's number now, and then I got your number. I got I need to get John's number, and I've got your number, Abe, also.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
and
great.
I love every one of you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, it's great to have you, Amanda. And I've been watching your channel for like 2 months almost now.
I've only been on 2 months.
Oh, did you guys see Paris Hilton he duetted Walter Masterson recently. He duetted Walter Masterson.
He duetted me too.
Yeah, he duetted Amanda also and Walter Masterson. So this group, Paris Hilton really likes our stuff. Honestly,
I didn't know it until Bert
You
told
should
me.
invite him on, see what he says.
I've been trying to get a hold of Paris Hilton. He doesn't.
He's got too
message
many
back.
kids. He's got 3 kids. He don't have time to be on YouTube.
Yeah, no, he has a YouTube. He's got 1 million subscribers on YouTube. It would be great to live stream on his channel.
Wow.
I think you would like it, but he's hard to get a hold of. He's very hard to get a hold of, honestly, but it's okay. Keep trying. I'll keep on trying. So Rik, what is your, what do you do with YouTube and Instagram and TikTok?
You know what? I would actually like to take this time and thank you guys, especially you, Bert. Like, you have been so welcoming to me, and I'm new to all of this. Thank you guys. You have great voices. You have great content, and I've really enjoyed talking to you guys. So I just want to say thank you to you.
Oh, thank you.
And
Thank you for joining.
for going around the country. I mean, I hadn't left my bed.
Rik, what's your handle on TikTok?
Rik Nagel, RIKNAGEL.
Okay.
And you're like at 51,000 subscribers on following.
50,000. I can't get past 50,000. I think I started doing really political stuff, and I haven't moved from that in like a month. So be it.
Wow. Well, it kind of, for TikTok and YouTube and most of the platforms, you kind of go up in spurts, and it's like these steps.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're flat and you're stuck. Like me, I'm stuck at 10,000 for the past 8 months. But then you go up and you're at 100,000 one day. Wow, it took like 3 days to get to 100,000, and then
I just hit 154,000 this second.
Woo-hoo!
Wow,
nice!
Congratulations!
I'm about to hit 10,000.
Honey, I don't even know how I got there. That's the craziest crap I've ever seen.
It's because of your handle, FU 2020. That's what that is.
Honey, they got to be really bored if they're watching me.
And then Mr. Jahko here, he's got like 370,000 followers.
I know.
It actually went up now that I started putting out more stuff about the election. When I first started getting followers, it was when I was starting with comedy. And then after that, I just said, you know what, let me do a shift. I'm going to start doing history. And I did history. And then that blew up. But then when I did like remixes on songs talking about the election, that just went out of the water. And now everyone's all sharing my page. I'm on Instagram, and I didn't even post it on Instagram. People have it all over the place. But it's basically just, I'm trying to reach out to Generation Z specifically to get their parents to vote if they can't vote. And I already got so much people in my comments that are telling me, thank you, I showed your video to my mom and she turned blue and she voted for Biden from seeing your video.
That's so great.
Well done.
I'm just happy to make a difference.
Yep.
Wow. I mean, your lyrics are just so... Oh, good. So, yeah, Mr. Jahko, your lyrics are just really smart and just like very informative. And you pick the right words to rhyme and make it really have like power to the song. I mean, you're a good songwriter. Once you get done with the political stuff, I mean, I'm sure you're going to make a great songwriter for somebody, like for sure.
Thank you.
It's definitely a gift you have.
If I could talk fast enough, I would try to do it myself.
Yeah. But anyways, you guys, so I guess I'm going to go last. Rik, make sure everyone checks out Rik's YouTube channel. He just started YouTube, and he's also live streaming this one. So make sure you follow and subscribe. Rik, subscribe to everybody, actually, to be honest, everybody. Like, we all can use support. All 21 of you guys. Make sure you subscribe, and it will help us out a lot because we're going to be making more content on YouTube in the next couple months. And we're also going to keep on making TikTok videos and stuff. But I'm mostly on YouTube myself. My channel is called Food X Bert, and I travel the world trying crazy foods. And I really try to show you the world and try to, like, try to encourage people to get out of the comfort zone. And like, you might think, oh, it's so dangerous in that country. Oh no, Thailand is so dangerous. I can't go there. Yeah, Thailand. I said it. Thailand.
Thailand.
So yeah, I mean, you go to these
Of
places.
course, he
you
would
arrive-
call it Thailand, though. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? He want to grab it and whatever he does over there.
So it's like, I just feel like you arrive, you get there, and it's scary at first. But once you get into the place, you just fall in love with the people. Not just Thailand, I'm talking about everywhere in the world. You travel there, go to Ecuador, I've heard great things about Africa. I would love to go to Africa someday, really soon. I just am impressed with all the places I go, and I want to show you guys where to go in the future. It's just so exciting to travel for me. So anyways, my name is Bert. I come from the channel Food Expert, and please subscribe to my channel. It really, really helps me out a lot. I'm shadow banned on YouTube right now, but hopefully I can get past the shadow ban. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I'm thinking about playing Mermaid Maggie video.
Oh no!
I always
gosh.
laugh.
Which one?
The game board song, the game board one.
That literally got like 600 likes. I mean, it's probably been seen out here more than it's been seen anywhere else.
I don't know, but it's really fun. We're just gonna end off with that. And anyone that wants to hang out and talk for a little bit longer can hang out and talk. You don't have to leave after I play this 30-second video. Oh, it's okay. You can go too. Anyways, we're gonna be ending this broadcast. I'm gonna be pressing this button right here. I got to solo me, and then I'm gonna be pressing this.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thanks,
guys.
Do you have a president that lies constantly, who's told over 20,000 lies or misleading claims in the past 4 years? Well, why not make a game out of it? From the company that brought you Jumanji and 2020, we bring you Liar Liar Pants on Fire. In this board game, you'll need to bring your player through a minefield of lies until they end up in jail. I'll be Donald Trump and you be Mitch McConnell. Ooh, a mystery lie. I don't know Jeffrey Epstein.
You are fake news.
Time to go back a square. Hey, Donald's in jail. I won. Aww. Featuring some of your favorite lies like Mexico will pay for the wall and my tan's not fake. Also, it's a Democratic hoax. I'm a stable genius. I don't know the guy. And the virus will just disappear like a miracle. Replacement packs come every 2 days. Thanks, Liar Liar Pants on Fire.